Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks once again are not bringing us any joy, and that rapscallion Kevin Thomas even had to dig in a little further and take a shot at me before he left about asking me if the D-backs are up in their game. Ha! But we are watching former Diamondbacks, and we are wondering if it's far too early to be worried if we're going to miss out on all of this postseason fun next year in 2026. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. To another edition of the PHNX Dbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of PHNX. Been here since 11 a.m. in the morning, forgot my wallet, couldn't eat any food, couldn't leave the building, couldn't get gas in my car, just been sleeping on the couch watching baseball all day, or at least watching rain delays and then eventually watching baseball. But welcome in to the PHNX Dbacks podcast. Glad to have you guys here. Of course, I got my guy Damon Dog on the ones and twos. He is the man behind the Mac, and I couldn't get him excited about baseball at all. With no Diamondbacks in the playoffs,
baseball's canceled.
There's no Damon in the playoffs, basically. With no Diamondbacks, there's no Damon.
There won't be. I'm officially declaring there will not be a World Series champion in 2025.
I'm fine with that.
In my personal record book.
I'm on board. That's not going to impact me any in regards to my feelings. Might make things a little awkward on who to reference as a champion, but hey, who cares? Great to see you guys here. Sean, Deborah, so many of you guys here. Katie May, I hope you still forgive me for my Taylor Swift takes. They kind of got worse on the Southwest Bias show.
Hashtag
today.
never forget.
Yeah, just don't watch that. I went on to blame her for the Cardinals' loss, so it's a bad week between me and Tay for sure. But glad to have you guys here. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to download that Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 as a new customer. You'll get some bonus bets for following a few easy steps. Over at Game Time, as a new customer, use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first ticket purchase of your already low last-minute ticket deals. And of course, very excited tonight, once again, to be talking about MLB postseason baseball. And I am excited to be doing it with the one, the only Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman from Snakes Territory. Jesse, great to see you. And I wish, once again, we were talking about Diamondbacks postseason baseball, but here we are nonetheless with our adopted Sea Snakes team from Seattle.
I mean, like, the Mariners lineup is like 1/3 former Diamondbacks.
Correct. Yes.
And then the Yankees, there's a few floating around. So,
but we don't want to. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We've adopted the Mariners, and that's how we'll go with them. But the Yankees, they did survive elimination. They are still out there fighting for their lives in the postseason after tonight's win. And the Mariners, their offense finally woke up after a lengthy delay, not only in the postseason, Jesse, but also after a weather delay today, a pretty significant weather delay. However, that weather delay did give us Big Papi as a weatherman, so that might have been a very silver lining, literally, to the storm that we experienced. He was delightful, as he always is. I just can't get enough of Big Papi. He's a treasure as a broadcaster. He's kind of like Jason Kelsey is proving to be over there for the NFL, but more Big Papi, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's fair. I mean, it's especially interesting when we have rain delays in the playoffs because these, there's a little bit more pressure for these national TV stations to actually fill the time with some sort of commentary as opposed to just going to something else. Like, people are expecting to watch postseason baseball, so you sort of have to have at least something, related to that game going on. And yeah, it was a bit of a long delay, as you said, almost 3 hours when all was said and done. I imagine the folks over at Major League Baseball were not too happy that these two games basically wound up being played concurrently. I know the
Yeah.
Mariners and the Tigers are a little bit ahead of the Yankees and Blue Jays, but part of that is because this Yankees Blue Jays game just took an absolute eternity to finish. So yeah,
It's the Yankees. Abolish the Yankees. I don't want to. Like, why is it no matter who the Yankees play, their games are ridiculously long? It didn't even make sense. I know it was a high scoring game, but it wasn't extra innings. It wasn't any kind of significant delay due to any injuries or anything like that. It's just the Yankees taking a long time to play baseball. But both games on at the same time, I didn't mind that so much. I mean, I talked about it the other day where they forced these other teams, the Tigers to play, day games for all their games, and the Guardians, playing these day games and not knowing when game 3 was going to be scheduled for there in Cleveland, and putting a lot of people in an awkward position of trying to figure out if they can make it, if they can go to that game, and what time it's going to be at, right? Like the Major League Baseball loves to stagger the games, but tonight was one of those opportunities where I loved having both of them on at the same time. I loved flipping back and forth. It was great to have all of that action on two different channels. The NFL makes it work. I know that they try to make sure that their postseason or their playoff games aren't at the same time, but they make it work. And quite frankly, as a fan, I like having multiple games on overall. But you are right. It was more of the delay of the time that they had to fill with nothing to talk about, much like we are in the position of with the Diamondbacks team that's not in the postseason.
I generally am cool with having multiple games on at once. I mean, frankly, it's just going to be logistically harder for me to watch the games that are scheduled during the day. So having one of these pushed back wasn't the worst thing. But I will say, Derek, I found it infuriating the number of times in this game where I would flip back and forth between the games and they were both on commercial at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened as
It
often
was
as
like
it
a
did, at
coordinated
least for
effort.
me. It was infuriating, but
Yeah.
beyond that, having two baseball games happening at once, not the worst thing in the world.
It's like listening to the radio in your car. They're all going to be a commercial break at the same time. They coordinate their efforts. They make sure they all do it at the same time to stop you from flipping channels. But the Sea Snakes, aka the Mariners, they did win 8-4, and they take a 2-1 lead in the series over Noah's Tigers. We want Noah to be sad, by the way, Jesse, because Noah's a very difficult person, much like yourself, very difficult person to upset. You are very even keeled. It's hard to throw you off your game. It's hard. You are clutch. You are very unflappable, much like Noah is. But he's so much more knowing about it. It's ridiculous, and he pretends to not care when the Tigers lose. But he cares. We know he cares, and we're sad that we're happy that he's sad. But the Mariners did get contributions from the starting lineup here, not just named Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, though Cal Raleigh, once again, 2 for 4, 3 RBI, another home run. This man is just incredible and continues to be in the postseason. He didn't turn into a different guy when the playoffs came around. He just stepped his game up even more.
I have to, maybe this won't be my most popular take on this show, but I mean, have I ever had a popular take on this show? I don't think that's ever happened before.
I don't know. People love you on this show, I'm pretty sure.
I would enjoy seeing Aaron Judge against Cal Raleigh in the ALCS. Like if that's the direction that we're headed, and granted the Yankees still have a long way to go to make that happen, that would be pretty sick. I mean, Cal Raleigh has a 1269 OPS in the postseason. Aaron Judge, after what he did today, I don't have the number in front of me, but it is very, very big.
It's
seeing
stupid.
Seeing those two guys go head to head in the ALCS on that stage, it would be good for baseball. I think it would be really, really fun to watch.
Damon, we have Aaron Judge's numbers here, or his what they showed on television tonight, Jesse, as far as his stats, and it was ridiculous. His numbers for the regular season already incredibly good. But putting up there on screen, here is what Aaron Judge's numbers were in the postseason, or are so far. 524 batting average, 600 on-base percentage, 762 slug for a 1.362 OPS. It's just nuts. It's nuts how good he is. And again, here on a night where the Yankees faced elimination. He was excellent. He was on a different level this postseason. Tonight, 3 for 4 with a home run, 4 RBI, 3 runs scored. A couple of other Arizona guys contributed there as well. Cody Bellinger, 2 for 4 with a double, run scored, and a walk. Future Arizona Diamondbacks first baseman. Probably not. But Austin Wells, also another Arizona guy. Damon's barking for him. 2 for 4 with an RBI tonight for the Yankees. They win 9-6, and they fight off elimination here on a night where it did not look like it was going to go that way for the Yankees. They were down by quite a bit early on. Carlos Rodon got rocked, and the Yankees still find a way to win in this one. He only lasts 2 1/3 innings, giving up 6 hits, 6 earned runs, walking 2, and only striking out 2. Very reminiscent of those couple of those starts that Brandon Pfaadt and Eduardo Rodriguez had there. Not at the late end of the season, but close to in the second half of the season.
They each had a few games like that over the course of the year. Unfortunately, had a fairly significant part to play in why the Diamondbacks are sitting at home right now. Granted, there were many other factors there as well beyond those two guys. But yeah, as far as this Yankees Blue Jays thing goes, I I mean, I know the Blue Jays are still theoretically in the driver's seat up 2-1, but now after the Yankees found a way to win this game and push it to a game 4, you're looking at a bullpen game for the Blue Jays tomorrow night against Cam Schlittler, who was extremely, extremely good for the Yankees in his first postseason start. Remember, there was a time we were thinking about maybe if the Dbacks could get Cam Schlittler from the Yankees in
Oh my
exchange for
God,
Eugenio
Jesse.
Suarez. I think we
Yeah.
realize now why that was not a possibility. I doubt the Yankees were even interested in
What a
entertaining that.
stud.
Now we know why. But I mean, that feels like a game that totally favors the Yankees, and obviously it's still going to be played in the Bronx. And then that would set up a game 5 back in Toronto. I think Max Fried would go in that game for the Yankees. So this win, this dramatic comeback by New York made this series a whole lot more interesting.
It did, but it also still feels like the Blue Jays are a very overpowering team, and the Yankees just did a good job tonight of kind of staying in the fight, punching back despite being down so big early on, and somehow finding a way to win. And honestly, their lineup is capable of it. They've just been underperforming, quite frankly, all postseason long. The Yankees have had, again, the same struggles that a lot of these teams have had, similar to the Mariners, right? Like the Mariners really needed somebody else to contribute. Tonight, they just got it from several guys, not just one. Meanwhile, Julio was 0 for 5, but Randy Arozarena 2 for 5. J.P. Crawford, big night, 2 for 2 with the home run, 2 RBI. And then Logan Gilbert, great for them. With the Yankees, same thing. They finally got some other guys contributing here. Jazz Chisholm hits the big home run, and that's the go-ahead home run to give the Yankees the lead in the 5th inning there. Speaking of Jazz, Damon, I think we're ready to once again do what we do here in the postseason since we have nothing else to do. But we're going to spy on our exes. That's right. Big night for Jazz, man. That's a big hit for him. Paul Goldschmidt, also a 0 for 1 night for him. Not getting a lot of at-bats in the postseason so far, but again, they didn't need much from those guys considering all that freaking Aaron Judge has been doing for the Yankees and all that he did for them tonight.
That home run that Aaron Judge hit was ridiculous. I mean, that was
Just
99 miles
absurd.
per hour, well off the plate inside. Him having the ability to pull his hands in and turn on that pitch was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on a
Incredible.
baseball field.
It's
I
incredible.
think there was somebody said, I don't remember who this was who reported this, but out of pitches that were 99 miles per hour or higher and that far inside, I believe that was the first home run that we've ever seen hit on a pitch that fast and that far in on the hands. So just a outrageous swing by obviously a very, very, very good hitter in Aaron Judge.
And it's amazing, man. I mean, again, he's just so good at baseball, and like there are things that you don't think a guy his size can do. That baseball that he hit, absolutely one of those instances where you're just shocked that he's able to turn around and get the bat on it. But overall, We got some other guys, of course, to spy on, and most of those come from our Sea Snakes. Like you said, between the Yankees and the Mariners, you could almost make up an entire Diamondbacks former Diamondback roster. But Gino Suarez finally contributed to the Mariners postseason offense tonight with a big solo home run in the 4th inning. He hit that off Jack Flaherty. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Dominic Canzone was 0 for 1 with a walk as a DH. He was replaced shortly after his second at bat. And then the big story, the big mystery surrounding the Seattle Mariners is Josh Naylor, a new dad. Is he playing in Game 3? Is he playing in Game 4? A lot of speculation. And then Josh Naylor, who did not travel with the team to Detroit after the Game 2 victory. Instead, he came home, I want to say. I probably shouldn't say home, but he came here to Arizona, where his wife currently is, who is in labor and is giving birth to their first child. And there is a lot going on in Josh Naylor's life right now. For him to still show up in Detroit for tonight's game is impressive. But there's a mystery, Jesse. Again, Shane is claiming that the baby has in fact been born. There has been no confirmation of a baby being born. We also know Josh Naylor can be kind of a private guy. Not that he doesn't let you into his life. I remember having some great conversations with him about his brother and his parents and his upbringing. But I wouldn't be surprised for Josh Naylor to keep something like this private right now. But I still am doubtful that Josh Naylor saw his first child be born and then was like, all right, cool, I got to go to Detroit to play in this baseball game. I'm skeptical that the baby has been born. So me and Shane are not on the same side of that. Shane was showing me pictures of Josh Naylor looking very happy today. There's a lot of people suspicious that when he came in looking so happy, which people are not used to seeing Josh Naylor necessarily be happy, that was an indication that his child had been born. But regardless, you got to applaud his effort to both his wife and baseball, because he seems very committed to both things.
Yeah, it is.
I probably
It
shouldn't
is
say things. Things is probably bad. I'm going to get in trouble with Katie May again for sounding like an absolute misogynistic pig. But anyway, Jesse.
I mean, it's
I'm not Max.
It's
Come
not
on,
that you
I'm not
sound
Max.
like one.
God, all right.
You made that clear to us, Derek.
Yeah. Anyway, Jesse, BabyWatch. Is the baby born? Is it not born? What are your thoughts? This is the most important topic we have.
I mean, I guess Josh Naylor didn't. I mean, he didn't say. And I'm reading Daniel Kramer's story over at MLB.com, and his lead is BabyWatch for Josh Naylor appears to have had its happy moment. And then he goes on to talk about how Josh Naylor did play in this game. But the language in here is just appears. Mariners manager Dan Wilson wouldn't confirm if awaiting the birth of the first Naylor child was why Josh was away from the team. So there is a bit of an odd mystery here. I know Josh also talked about how he likes to keep his family life private, and I think you have to respect that, even though it is a little bit strange that we don't actually know for sure whether this baby is or not.
Well, I'll say this is that it's none of anyone's damn business as far as what he chooses to do based on being a new father, right? And I mean, I think there could be some criticism, because people criticize everything these days, right? But there could be some criticism tossed his way if he chooses to not miss this postseason run that on this team that he's a part of, considering that he's, a new dad. It's a bad look, maybe, that if he doesn't miss time, or if he does miss time, then it's a bad look for him as a player. Regardless, I believe what a quote was once said was, if someone has a baby and the first thing you say is congratulations, hope it's healthy, you're an a-hole. I won't finish that because I'm not allowed to. Wait, can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. But anyway, you are one of those, and that's really what it comes down to. So in regards to Josh Naylor, we hope that if his baby has been born, the baby is very healthy, and we wish him and his wife the absolute best on the birth of their child. If their baby hasn't been born, then we hope that everything goes well and that baby is healthy when the baby arrives, and that everything is great with the mother and father. And regardless of anybody else's opinion about it, that's all we hope for here, Jesse. And for that, we are giving our king snake tonight to a man who's trying to live both lives. Josh Naylor, welcome to fatherhood, pal. Whenever that happens, or if it's happened, congratulations on it. So there you go. But anyway, Jesse, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we have a lot more to talk about. We're going to get very dramatic around here because we are going to ask the question if the Diamondbacks are in fact already cooked for the 2026 MLB postseason on a way too early chance to have anxiety and worry about these things. So we'll do that on the other side of this break. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, of course, tonight I could definitely use a little treat from Zenleaf Dispensary. And if you could too, make sure to stop by one of their Valley locations. Zenleaf is your go-to spot for cannabis, no matter if you are overcoming a terrible Cardinals loss that still stings, or if you're prepping for the Phoenix Mercury to perhaps it make you sad tomorrow night. Regardless of what you are getting ready for, whatever way Arizona sports is going to hurt you, check out Zenleaf Dispensary's locations all across the Valley. They have locations in Chandler, Gilbert, North Phoenix, and more. It's easy to swing by before kickoff, or more importantly, get your online order in for pickup. You can walk right in and walk right out. Right now, check this out. For a limited time, you can use our code of ZenPHNX for 50% off. That's right, 50% off just for listening. You can only use it once, so make sure to stock up on this amazing discount. Whether you've been around the block or you're trying something new for the first time, the Zenleaf crew will help you leave with exactly what you need. And check out those Pure edible products, including that new all-in-one from those folks over at Pure Edibles as well. So lots of fun products to check out over there. And don't forget, for a limited time, only using that code of ZenPHNX will get you 50% off a one-time purchase. Zenleaf, great weed, great service every time. And of course, for more than 15 years, Access Insurance Agency of Arizona has provided affordable, reliable car insurance to drivers in the Phoenix metro area. As a dedicated part of the local community, Access Auto helps Arizona drivers get insured by offering flexible coverage options and accepting various forms of IDs, driving histories, and license types. By partnering with over 20 insurance carriers, they make it easy for you to compare rates and find the best policy for your budget. They have bilingual Spanish-speaking agents at 9 convenient locations across the valley, and Access agents are ready to help assist customers in finding the right coverage for their budgets and identifying available discounts. Both cash and card payments are accepted for added convenience. Access Auto, trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. All statements are subject to terms, exclusions, and conditions of the applicable policy. In all instances, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to individual policyholders meeting underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply. Well, like I said, Jesse and Killer X is ready to jump in here and already say yes, they are cooked. I did wear my Muppet hoodie just for you, Killer X. But watching all of this fun, Jesse, does make me jealous. It makes me sad. I'm envious of this Mariners team. I know I try to call them the Sea Snakes. I know to try to have a good time about it. I'm not having a good time. I'm not happy. Damon's not happy. Damon's not even on board with the Mariners thing. Again, he's anti-baseball. Baseball's over to him.
What's baseball?
The playoffs don't matter. The World Series doesn't matter. But Jesse, this does also make me worry about next season. Now, again, I still have my own feelings as to how that Red Series went, how this Diamondbacks team was built, and what our playoff experience was most likely going to be like. I would love to be my normal, very, very, I guess, glass half full, optimistic self, but I have a hard time seeing what the Dodgers did to the Reds and now what they're doing to the Phillies, and thinking that the Diamondbacks, the way they were constructed, had a chance to do anything memorable in this particular postseason. I know it would have made a big deal to so many of us to even have 2 postseason games, but I fear deep down in my heart that that's all we would have gotten from this Dbacks team. And I think my fears also now carry over to how likely it is that they do contend in any way in 2026. I mean, I feel like it's safe to say the D-backs are in big trouble as far as making the postseason. But am I being too dramatic there way too early on? Like, do we have to, obviously, we have to wait and see what they do in the offseason before we can start smashing the panic button.
I I think it is probably a little too early to say that the Diamondbacks are doomed to fail in 2026. And I think it's worth noting that Mike Hazen is going to be in what sort of appears to be a back against the wall kind of situation. I mean, if the Diamondbacks are not able to make the
Agreed.
postseason next year, it's hard for me to imagine the team bringing Torey Lovullo back. You know, his contract is up at the end of 2026. Mike Hazen's contract is not up at the end of 2026. But if the team is unable to make the postseason next year, I think it certainly wouldn't shock me if that was the end of Mike Hazen's tenure as well. So you have to believe that Mike has that in mind, that is going to play a role in his thinking this offseason. I think it would for any general manager in that position. And so we were talking about this the other day on Snakes Territory. Like, I don't think it's out of the question that the D-backs could be unusually aggressive this offseason in trying to improve this team going into next year, trying to put this team in position to contend. It's going to be an uphill battle. There's no question. I mean, Corbin Burns isn't coming back until around the All-Star break. It sounds like Justin Martinez, you'd be lucky to get more than a few weeks out of him, given his timeline. AJ Puck maybe could return at some point in the middle of the season, but again, you don't really know what any of those guys are going to look like when they're coming off of elbow surgery. So it's
Valid.
not going to be easy. I don't think pundits left and right are going to be picking the Diamondbacks to go to the playoffs when the season starts.
That's
But
safe.
I think they have a lot of incentive. I mean, I think that this team is probably going to be pretty aggressive, and doesn't sound like the payroll is going to go up. I think it's probably going to go down, but this team could be aggressive in the trade market to try to make some big additions.
I think that's the key is their trade assets. The problem is the value of those trade assets. I feel like when you look at, for instance, like a Jake McCarthy or Alec Thomas's value isn't actually that low, but he is the one that I'm sure most Diamondbacks fans would rather keep of that duo. And there's a good chance that you're probably going to lose one, if not potentially both of those guys in a trade if the Diamondbacks are being as aggressive as you are saying. And being aggressive is the only way that they really can find that path to success. I mean, Hazen did say this offseason they will focus on pitching. And he specified starting pitching, kind of over relief pitching, but almost put the two, 1A, 1B, basically, as far as what the Diamondbacks are going to be going out there and looking to improve. They have to, because they need at least two starting pitchers right now. I mean, and I mean, unfortunately, I don't really see a path to where they have somebody that could like even fill that role as a starting pitcher currently on the roster. So even if it's somebody that is coming off a really bad season, or somebody that's been struggling, or even some sort of journeyman or something like that, they're going to have to add two starting pitchers, not just one. Hopefully, one of them is Merrill Kelly, but even his price might be too high for all of the things that the Diamondbacks need to add to this roster in order to make them competitive. But my question to you is that he made it sound, especially like first base and maybe some other positional holes that they have, that they might not fill those through free agency. I know that he might just be saying free agency. Maybe those holes are filled via trades or other ways to do so. But is it safe to be like at least concerned that this roster is competitive the way it's structured? Forget the pitching, but just the positional players and the depth that they have there.
I think it's a pretty fair question. I mean, the D-backs gave opportunities to a lot of young players, especially in the second half of the season after the trade deadline. And frankly, not many of those players really proved a whole lot. I think Blaze Alexander, he probably raised his stock more than anyone else. I think you could pretty much pencil him in for an
Agreed.
everyday role, at least close to everyday role in 2026. But outside of that, Tyler Locklear struggled, and now he's having this big dual elbow shoulder surgery. You're not really sure what his timeline is going to look like. Tim Tawa had some good moments, but overall the offensive numbers were pretty rough there. And the list kind of goes on of some of these young players that had some moments. I guess Adrian Del Castillo is another one, but didn't really prove to you that they belong on a big league roster as an everyday type player. And so I mean, there are a lot of other areas where the team could add on a position on the position player side of things. It doesn't sound like any of that is going to be a top priority for the D-backs, and understandably so. But going back to what I said earlier, if Mike Hazen is really going to be aggressive this offseason, then you're probably not going to want to rely on some of those young players all that much. I think it would not surprise me at all if the D-backs target some veteran players in free agency or maybe via trade as well.
I mean, again, the other part about that, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Jesse, is like we have these reinforcements returning, right? And it's safe to say that Corbin Burns, AJ Puck, and Justin Martinez are three of the Diamondbacks' best pitchers on their roster. But what will they be when they return? How much time will it take? Can the Diamondbacks tread water that long and stay close to 500 without having, the deficit as far as games back in the wild card race? Because most likely that once again is going to be their only path to the postseason. Like, can they stick around in it that long until those guys return? And will their returns be significant enough at that point to help them kind of get over maybe being under 500 or kind of being a subpar team at that point? I guess this is all
Yeah.
speculation, and I know you love speculation, but I mean, it's just where my thought process goes watching all of these other teams and like their young talent, like you said, the Yankees Cam Schlittler coming up and having the game he had, and just like even that game, the Yankees and the Red Sox both starting rookie pitchers. I was jealous of that. I can't even look at the roster right now, and outside of maybe like a Cole Drake that we got in return for Merrill Kelly, I can't see very many prospects coming up and helping this team at a major league level and having that kind of impact that some of these young players we're seeing in the postseason have, So like, there's just a lot of things that make me feel hopeless about 2026, and we're not even close to spring training yet.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel hopeless. I think the Diamondbacks have one of the best position player trios in all of baseball, and Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, and Geraldo Perdomo. We were talking on our show just yesterday about where that trio ranks in all of baseball. And this past season, if you look at Fangraphs wins above replacement, that trio of Perdomo, Carroll, and Marte was the second best position player trio in all of baseball. Only the Yankees had a better trio, and that's because Aaron Judge basically did all of it by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really compelling starting point for a baseball team. As long as you have those three players in place and reasonably healthy, I think you have a shot. It's just a matter of, can the Diamondbacks piece together enough pitching to keep this thing viable? And I mean, what we saw this past year obviously was not good in that regard. It was not good the year prior either. But it also means that the bar is set pretty low. I mean, if somehow, some way you can assemble just a league average pitching staff with the core that you have with this offense, I mean, that could be a pretty darn good baseball team. So it's certainly not going to be easy. I'm not trying to say that it is, but the D-backs are in a fairly enviable position in terms of the offensive pieces that they do have.
And you're right about that. And I think, again, some additions on, again, the Diamondbacks are going to have money to spend. They are going to have, they're going to be able to go out and get some position players. It's not going to be the marquee players on the market, just like it's not going to be the marquee arm like they've added the last two off seasons that did not work out for them either of these past two seasons, right? But they can still add a very good arm. I brought up the other day what the Royals did with like Seth Lugo, some of the additions they made to just kind of make their overall team better, but none of the moves were super flashy or anything crazy, but they did improve their roster. And I think right now the Diamondbacks are in a position where they have an ace returning, an ace who is chomping at the bit, according to our final media availability with Corbin Burns at Chase Field. He was saying how you were going to have to literally hold him back from going out there and wanting to throw once he gets to that point of feeling good, because he was describing how there's like this stretch where once you start feeling good, you have to wait so long before you start even playing, catch. And he was basically saying, like, once I feel good, I'm gonna start playing catch. They're gonna have to like tie me down to stop me from doing that. So I'm excited about how committed he is to getting back and how quickly he wants to come back. And you do never know what the timetable is going to be for any one athlete. But again, that goes to that question about those reinforcements coming. You can't even guarantee that their timetable is what has been said. That's kind of still a hopeful timetable, but in some cases, they are extreme cases, it does take longer than that. And in that case, the Diamondbacks could be without Justin Martinez all of next year. They could be without AJ Puck for most of next year, and most likely will be without Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for all of next year as well. So, again, these timetables could shorten up. They could return a little early, but at the very least, most of those guys are going to return very late in the season, where even though we saw it happen in September and August this year, it could be too little too late, by that point for those reinforcements to make a huge impact on the Diamondbacks' postseason chances. So it really comes down to what they're able to do this offseason, and also what the guys that are here are able to do. I think that Blaze Alexander with a regular position could be more consistent offensively. Like, I feel like once he got moved around the diamond and once he got put in the outfield and stuff like that was when we started to see his offense kind of regress a little bit. So perhaps this offseason we can see him take a big step forward. I can't imagine Corbin Carroll getting better as a baseball player than he has, but he seems to get better every offseason. So that's very exciting to think about that. And also, like you said, Cattell and Geraldo, like, those guys are amazing baseball players, and the Diamondbacks are pretty well set in regards to, their core offensively. Hopefully Gabby Moreno can figure his bat out and can, once again regain that every day. I know it's never every day, but that starting catcher position overall. But really the pitching is where all of the questions lie. And that's the reason why Hazen said this team will be aggressively going after pitching in some way this offseason with the limited budget that they'll have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way around that for this team. I mean, you need to add majorly to the starting pitching, as you were talking about earlier. And I think if you're really serious about contending, I mean, you're gonna have to have a closer. You're gonna have to have some sort of answer at the back end of the bullpen. It's no secret that the Dbacks have had the most success in their bullpen when they have had an established closer who's reliable, who has experience in that role. Going to be easier said than done to patch that hole. But I think it's something that they probably need to do if they're really serious about being in the mix next year. The position player side, though, is also very interesting to me, Derek. I mean, there's that core in place that's so excellent, but as we were also talking about earlier, there are some holes to fill. Are Alec Thomas and Jake McCarthy going to be on this team next season? I'd be a little surprised if both of those guys were still on the roster. I think there's some maneuvering that could be done there. First base is a really interesting position as well, with Tyler Locklear, his status sort of up in the air, and obviously Pavin Smith having a really rough second half of the season. That's another area that the D-backs could look to address. So there's a lot to do, and I do not envy Mike Hazen trying to make all the pieces fit together with the budget that he has. But I think this could be a year where the D-backs are pretty aggressive in the trade market. If you don't have a ton of money to spend, then that's sort of your alternative. And we've certainly seen Mike Hazen make some pretty big trades in the past.
And I do think that it would be more surprising that both of those guys, Alec and Jake, are on this team next year than it would be surprising if neither one of those guys are on the team next year. And that's sad to me because, again, Alec Thomas and Jake have both delivered some amazing moments for this team. And I will never get over Alec Thomas planting the flag in the bank after the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies in Game 7 of the NLCS. They impacted that team so strongly that their fan base is still shook from what happened in 2023, Jesse. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break and once again reminisce about Alex's moment and how much it's going to break my heart if he's not part of this team. On the other side of this break, don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, and right now it is football season, and football season is definitely not ordinary. At least Arizona Cardinals games are very much not ordinary. So do not miss out on getting in on the action, on all the fun. Of course, right now they have early payout offers across MLB Postseason, as well as all the NFL and college football action. Right now you can get down on an early payout offer where you are a winner with the Bet365 early payout offer. If your team goes up by 17 points, no matter the outcome of that game. Why would that be important? Like, how can you imagine a team going up by 17 points or more and then losing that game? I can't imagine it. Can you imagine it? Because I can't. But guess what? You're a winner if you would have bet on the Cardinals and they lost to the Titans, because that's the way the early payout offer works over there at Bet365. This applies to college football as well. You are a winner on instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. Last NFL season, both money lines were paid out 4 times because of their early payout offer and the end result of the game. And we know at least one game where that has happened. So new customers right now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Just sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, you guys know the moment. I know the moment. I'm very forgetful. Like I said, I forgot my wallet today, and my life was a disaster because of it. I realized I don't often forget my wallet, but one thing I do forget all the time is my sunglasses. I forget them during the day when it's bright outside. I take them with me at night when I don't need them, and usually I leave them sitting on my friends' counters or somewhere that I completely forgot them. And thanks to Shady Rays, I don't ever have to worry about never having my sunglasses ever again, because they have the craziest lost and broken replacement plan in all of eyewear, where they have your back. Even on day one, if you break your Shady Rays, lose them, no questions asked, they'll get you hooked up. And of course, it changed the game for me. So these sunglasses are made for real life. They're seriously good looking. They have polarized lenses. They're durable, and they are not stupidly expensive. So make sure to check out Shady Rays, a company that has your back long after you purchase. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer right now. Head to shadyrays.com and use our code of PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I know it's not that time yet, but they already put Christmas stuff out at all my stores, so makes a great Christmas gift. Just saying. Jesse, we had a couple of other series here that have taken a 2-game lead in the postseason. One of those is the Brewers, who look for real. They look for real here against the Cubs. They did not have any home runs in their first victory in Game 1, kind of just taking it to the Cubs with singles and base hits and outscoring them early and putting them in that big deficit. Game 2, all 7 runs they scored by the Brewers. They did it via home run. They win 7-3 over the Cubs and take a 2-0 lead. Jackson Churio, 2 for 4 with a home run, 3 RBI. William Contreras, I got you on that one. 2 for 4 with 2 runs, a home run himself and an RBI. And then the Miz, Jacob Mizorowski, didn't start, but he got the bulk of the work for the Brewers. They are going 3 innings, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So Brewers did a little opener kind of situation. Baseball teams have been doing that all this postseason. There's been a lot of like short outings for starters, even guys that aren't giving up a ton of runs just because of how close these games are. But meanwhile, the Brewers, they do not have any problem scoring runs right now against the Cubs.
There was definitely a point where going into the playoffs, I had quite a bit of doubt about the Brewers. They feel like yet another Brewers team that had a great regular season and surprised a lot of people, but was not necessarily built to win in the playoffs. You mentioned it earlier. Home runs are always a key stat when it comes to the postseason, and that's not really something the Brewers have done all that well this season, or really in any recent season either. It's felt like that's been an issue for them once they get to October, time and time again. But then I'm also reminded that, like, there's a whole lot of randomness that happens in October. Truly
Right.
anything can
Right.
happen in this span of just a few weeks that we're playing postseason baseball. And so, yeah, I mean, regardless of what the Brewers' strengths and weaknesses might be on paper, you never know what's going to actually happen when we start playing the games. And it's not like they don't have guys who are capable of hitting home runs. Jackson Churio hit a big one in this game. William Contreras, certainly he is capable of doing that as well. So, you get those two guys just staying hot for a period of a few weeks, and suddenly maybe the Brewers are hitting all the home runs that they need and then some. And obviously the pitching staff is in a pretty good spot there as well. So the Cubs look pretty dead to me, Derek. At
They
least
do.
from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, they do not look like they have much life left to them. Sean Mick brings up a great point here. He says the Brewers and Jays have that lethal contact ability. It wears teams down, and that's absolutely the case here with their offense. Like, it's the reason why it's hard to right now pick against the Blue Jays and the Brewers. They just have this ability to come out and be as good as they were, if not even better, offensively here in the postseason than they were this year. And both of those teams led their respective leagues in wins, right? So it's impressive because there doesn't seem to be any kind of any problem with the layoff there of having the bye in the first round for either team, and they are both absolutely dialed in here. But again, the Yankees get a big win. It's kind of good because if we are rooting for the Mariners, we need them to slow down the Blue Jays a little bit. We need to figure out these Blue Jays for our Mariners here, because that looks like a problem. And not only that, Jesse, but I will remind you that there's a civil war brewing here in the office, because Shane does root for the Mariners and Leah does root for the Blue Jays, and that seems like that is a collision course that we're all going to have to deal with here at the office. I can't wait. I'm excited for the drama and the inner turmoil around here. But what I'm not excited by, Jesse, is the Dodgers figuring their bullpen out, and they take what feels like the most commanding 2-0 lead in the postseason. You might say here that the Cubs look done, but man, the Phillies absolutely look cooked in this series. The Dodgers aren't even doing that much offensively, but they're doing enough, and more importantly, they're able to lock these games down with Roki Sasaki at the end. They finally found a role for him, and quite frankly, he is thriving in that role. Considering what most people think of when they think of Sasaki, him earlier on in the season, struggling, having the video captured of him of crying in the dugout and such. He didn't seem at least like the strongest candidate to come into the most high leverage situations in a baseball game. Yet here he is doing the thing, and the Dodgers really feel like they've found a way to shore up one of their biggest weaknesses, quite frankly.
I remember watching Sasaki's first game back off the injured list, or I guess was it off the injured list? They just no, he was activated. He was on a rehab assignment. And it came against the Diamondbacks, and he looked just absolutely electric. I mean, it was legit back end level stuff. And yeah, as you said, I mean, this has been a really big issue for the Dodgers here all season, figuring out how, like, what the story is going to be for them at the end of these games, and having somebody who can step up and close is a really big piece of that puzzle. I still am not so sure about the relievers that would come in before Sasaki. Blake Trinan had a pretty rough game, obviously.
That's fair.
Alex Vesia has had some struggles here and there, but I mean, the Dodgers starting pitching has been pretty ridiculous here over the
Blake
past few
Snell.
months, really. I mean,
My
Blake
God.
Snell looks totally unhittable. Shohei Ohtani, I know he gave up a few runs, but the stuff looks outstanding with him as well. And obviously they have other weapons too, in Yamamoto and Tyler Glass now. So it's there's just so much talent on this Dodgers team, and I think I was a little bit too quick to dismiss the Dodgers in this postseason race. I looked at them and saw the bullpen issues,
Yeah.
and really just the fact that they won the whole thing last year. We don't really see repeat champions in baseball often at all, but watching this team on this stage now, I mean, they look better than certainly the Philadelphia Phillies, no question about that.
Well, it's hilarious because as we watch these two teams, these are two teams that were greatly impacted by the Arizona Diamondbacks 2023 postseason run. The Dodgers went out and spent all the money. And they were like, the Diamondbacks will never beat us in the postseason ever again as long as we live. Like, that's their attitude. Meanwhile, the Phillies are crumbling. And we might have jacked the Phillies chain in 2023, Jesse.
They would have won that World Series.
And even if they would have won that World Series, you're right about that. But overall, it just feels like they haven't recovered from it. And the interesting thing that I've seen from their fan base is their fan base actually blaming the 2023 series against the Diamondbacks. And Damon, I don't know if we have that tweet, but there's a tweet there about this one right here. This comes from Philly Sports Sufferer, which seems very apropos. He said, after the Dbacks series, this team lost all ability to play in the playoffs. They are dead. They forgot what it means to win when it matters. This era of Phillies baseball is over. Blow it up.
Hang the banner at Chase Field. I'm not even kidding. We killed the Phillies. That's
okay with
that's
that.
As good of a championship for
Slayed
me.
the Phillies. Yes, put it on a banner for sure, 1,000%. Trey Turner in this series, 1 for 7 with an RBI walk and 3 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber, 0 for 7, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Bryce Harper, 1 for 7, 1 walk, 3 K. Bunch of bums, Jesse. And I'm okay with being the team that ended their postseason. How are you blaming 2023? You've had 2 years to figure it out. You won the NL East. Why is it our fault? Why is it our fault? I understand the Dodgers thing. That is totally our fault. Hitting those 4 home runs in a row is the reason why the Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani. But the Phillies crumbling, I'm happy to be a part of it, but I don't feel like we're exclusively the reason why this team is a mess in the playoffs.
I think for me, it just underscores how important it is to capitalize when you have an opportunity. Like, I think we can all agree that the Phillies on paper were certainly the better team in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
I think the opposing team was better on paper in every series the Diamondbacks played in that postseason. But yeah, I mean, when you're there, you have to capitalize. You never know when you're going to be able to get back to that same point. And the Phillies have struggled to win in the postseason ever since. I don't know if it actually has anything to do with some trauma from from the Diamondbacks going into the bank and winning game 6 and 7. I don't know if that's
Thomas
really
planting that flag made things never the same in that building ever again in the postseason.
Yeah. I don't know if I fully buy into that, but the Phillies, I mean, they don't have Zach Wheeler, obviously, so this version of them does look pretty different from what we saw a couple years ago. And a lot of these guys are getting older as well. This was not as good of a season from Bryce Harper as we're used to seeing. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber seems to have only gotten better with age. Trey Turner's had a pretty solid year for the Phillies as well, but it's just really hard. I mean, you only get so many shots at this, no matter how good your core of talented players might be, and it feels like that window might be closing for the Phillies at this point.
Yeah, well, and at least there's one positive for the D-backs. It doesn't really feel like that. It does feel like there's going to be a kind of like a new era here. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Corbin Burns is no spring chicken. I don't know if that's even a phrase people know anymore, but he is not no youthful man, right? But he still has a lot left in the tank, and so does this roster. The way that again, the core that Killer Rex denies exists is set to be together, and again, building around that core is something that the Diamondbacks can do for a few years to come, right? So at least the window is not closed on this D-backs team, and that 2023 run. You can call it fluky. You can call it way before their time. but it was real and it happened. And we went to the World Series, and Jesse had logged all the miles in the air to prove it. So that did happen. And again, that experience is invaluable for this team. Hopefully the Diamondbacks can find a way to build on it and not squander this team the way that we're talking about the Phillies most likely squandering this just killer lineup that they've had for years. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Actually, we're not. I'm just going to remind you guys, of course, about our fun events that we have around here. Talked about our away parties out there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And of course, on October 19th, we are having a little tailgate before the Cardinals game. You could join the PHNX Cardinals crew for a pregame tailgate out there at Chicken and Pickle in Glendale before the Cardinals take on the Packers. We're going to have PHNX merch giveaways, yard games, drink specials, and so much more. Go to PHNX, go to gophnx.com/events to RSVP for this free event and join us out there. We're going to be having a great time. Jesse, I know you are in San Diego, and I know the weather is beautiful. I know you're having a great time, but do you miss the fact that Arizona Fall League has started and you aren't here for it? Because Arizona Fall League is a whole lot of fun.
Jesse, that felt nasty, didn't it?
Did.
I don't know. I don't know what got into Derek
Jesse
right there.
sends me pictures of the beach
Fair.
all the time.
Fair.
And I feel like this is the only chance I've had to brag about anything.
If Jesse is indeed sending like a nice picture of him walking down the boardwalk with a screenshot of the Phoenix weather for the week with saying like 118, then maybe he does deserve it.
It's nasty. It's a little nasty, but our Salt River Rafters did have their season opener today, and they did win 7-3 over the Glendale Desert Dogs. Fun fact, Dre Jameson got the win in this game, Jesse. He was in there in an inning of relief, but that is when the Salt River Rafters took the lead, and he gets the win with 1 inning pitched, clean, no runs, no hits, no nothing allowed. Hansel Luis, the other Diamondback that was in the lineup today, he was hitting leadoff. He went 0 for 3 with a walk. So, again, another chance to just remind everybody how great Arizona Fall League is and how it's not to be missed. Make sure you come out and watch these young guys play. It's a whole lot of fun, great prospects out there. And unfortunately, much like the great weather here during the fall, it'll be gone before we know it. So, dude, don't sit there and tell yourself, I'll go next week. Go soon. Go soon because ticket prices are cheap. The talent is great, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Low key, I also, from my great memories of being at the Arizona Fall League the past few years, the weather is actually the best in like this mid-October period because it gets cold in November, Derek. I've covered too many Fall League games where my little light jacket wasn't actually sufficient because I get cold very easily, and it'll be like 58 degrees when the sun goes down. So highly recommend getting out to a Fall League game sometime soon. The Diamondbacks have legitimately several really interesting prospects who are playing, so it's definitely worthwhile.
And not just the Dbacks. I mean, there's some top 100 prospects all across the Fall League. So do not miss out on it. There's a Fall Stars game. There is a home run derby, which we went out to and had a great time at, and so much more. So we will keep you posted on all that. I will be out there. I have a costume I'm going to wear just because if I would have worn it around Jesse, it would have embarrassed him, which I always constantly did anyway. So none of that matters. But,
yeah, I don't think that ever really stopped you. But.
But hey, man, I appreciate you so much. Make sure to follow Jesse on Twitter. Again, thank you so much for your time, sir. You can follow him at Jesse and Friedman. You can also check out Snakes Territory. Follow Snakes Territory at Snakes Territory. And then wherever you get your podcast, wherever you get this podcast, make sure to check that show out. As far as Damon and I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog. We are all Damon's dogs.
Bark.
Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm having a hard time saying words, mostly because it's hot in this hoodie, Jesse. I'm wearing this hoodie. It looks like I'm comfortable, but you know I'm not. You know these studio lights are hot. it's all a facade. And realistically, I need a big glass of water. But we thank you guys. See, and you make sure you drink water too. I know you're taking care of yourself. See, I knew it. I have nothing left to teach you. I have nothing left to teach.
Can I just say real quick before we get out of here, Jesse, the facial hair tonight, something about it. I mean, I know it's not too different from what you've been doing.
I was going to say, with the shirts and the hair.
Yeah, it might be the haircut,
There's a lot of handsomeness going on there. It
might be a haircut situation with the new facial hair, tying it really all together, and it's just it's beautiful, man.
I'm dressed like a hobo in like a hoodie. And I've got like pizza stains on it.
That's
Jesse's
mine and Derek's
wearing a nice shirt with some button up. Oh man, it's too much. But
yeah, he does look like Chalamet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Movie
anyway,
star.
we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for your time. We thank you guys in the chat. Thank you guys so much for your time. You guys are the best. Appreciate everyone. We will be back tomorrow with a noon show talking about this James McCann, Gabby Moreno situation and more. So make sure to join us for that. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Thank you again for your time. Behave yourselves, Killer Rex. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you get to be part of the postseason discussion and not just worrying about missing it next season.
We all silly like the mayor.